If it matters to you, it matters to us. Call Tipp today on 1-800-938-007.
Into us on 083 311 3311. A message: I have zero faith in Family Carers Ireland. I feel totally let down by them. That's coming from a carer of the year in Tipperary. Richie harps on about means tests constantly, and when it does need to be abolished, so more carers can avail of the measly support carers allowance offers. This does absolutely zero to help current carers on the allowance that are struggling. Well, in fairness, Richie made that point. It does nothing to help with the respite emergency care if the carer themselves are sick. Mental health support, I could go on and on. We need to be properly represented in front of government, and I don't believe that's happening at the moment. Another listener in to say the carer's office in Clonmel is invaluable, Fran. The help and support that Richie gives is selfless. You can call him at any time of the day or night if you're in trouble and need emergency help. The people who look after loved ones at home are tied with their two hands behind their back. They can't go to work. They miss out on the ability to earn more money on a weekly basis. The government offer carers allowance of €270, where that doesn't even cover the bills in the household, never mind medications. Your life is 24/7 looking after your loved ones. We move on. The Ireland-Palestine Solidarity Campaign has expressed its disappointment that the FAI wishes to proceed with the fixture against Israel in a third country, likely to be Hungary. And Zoe Lawlor from the IPSC joins me now. Good morning to you, Zoe.
Good morning.
And thanks for coming on with us today. You said that the decision is against the wishes of most Irish footballers and indeed the fans, Zoe.
Absolutely. I mean, all the polls and surveys, including one done by the Professional Footballers Association of Ireland, show that the majority of League of Ireland players, members of the League of Ireland and also the broader public don't want these games to be played.
Are you surprised that the government has washed its hands of this and said, you know, it's not their issue, it's all about the FAI?
No, I'm not surprised, because for over 2.5 years we've watched the government do nothing to sanction Israel, even though we're watching a live stream genocide. They're even going to water down the Occupied Territories Bill. And I think it's very irresponsible of them to send out those mixed messages. You know, Patrick O'Donovan and Charlie McConaughey saying that they won't attend the games, but then they expect the FAI to go ahead with them. And I think if the FAI had the support of the government, it would strengthen their position if they did want to pull out of the fixtures.
Will you answer all the usual arguments you get that sports and politics should remain separate, that UEFA and FIFA have not suspended Israel, and the FAI is a member of UEFA, so therefore it's not necessarily their issue? Would you just answer those for me, because I'm sure you get them all the time, Zoe?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the way people say sport and politics shouldn't mix is just a bizarre kind of framing. Like, we don't live in compartmentalised parts of our brains. You know, this is my sport part and this is my politics part. And sport and politics are intrinsically linked. And to play Israel is a political act, because that state is currently under investigation for genocide, committing genocide, and you're endorsing the normalisation of this by playing them. So it is political. And we can see with what's happening with the World Cup at the moment, the notion that sport and politics aren't political, is just ridiculous. And the second point was, so that makes that point that because the FIFA and UEFA won't act, it is up to individual sporting bodies to take a stand and to uphold UEFA's and FIFA's own statutes and to act by not playing the games.
The other one you get all the time, I presume, is players should not bear the burden of political disputes, Zoe. Yeah, no, actually, we wouldn't put pressure on the players, because that's a very difficult position for them and it's very unfair. Obviously, if a player decided not to play, we would be very supportive and respect that and think that was great. But we understand that that's a very difficult position for players, and it's up to the sporting bodies to make those decisions and not put players in the position that they're in, as they were with Seamus Coleman and various other players being asked their position on this. The other thing that might be said to you is that the match does not imply endorsement. In other words, it's a game of football.
No, I know, and we don't say that it implies endorsement, but what it does is it gives Israel a platform, again, similar to Eurovision, to present itself as a normal state on the world stage, same as everybody else, participating in a sporting event. When the reality is Israel has killed over 1,000 Palestinian athletes, including 421 football players, including a player who visited Ireland twice as a child as a football player.
It is really unfortunate indeed. It looks like it is going ahead, and the fact it's going ahead then in I suppose a neutral venue, a neutral country. What do you take from that?
Well, I think it's a terrible decision because what it's doing is it's taking away our right to protest. Obviously, we don't want the games to go ahead at all. But if it's in a neutral venue, it takes away the right of the people of Ireland who want to protest. And it takes away a lot of the kind of momentum of the campaign, which I think is one reason why they're moving it after what the protests around the Qatar game. And I also think then it puts more pressure back on the players because they will again be asked more about it. Whereas if it was in Ireland, the pressure is more on the FAI, I feel.
Now, of course, long before the current issues in Gaza, there were calls for a boycott of Israeli sporting institutions. I mean, that's been going on a long, long time, hasn't it?
Yeah. In fact, the Palestinian BDS boycott, divestment and sanctions call came in 2005. The year after the International Court of Justice ruled that the apartheid wall was illegal and should be taken down, and it's only gotten bigger. So, yeah, we've always called for, supported the call for a sporting boycott of Israel, and long before this genocide, Israel was putting obstacles in front of all Palestinian players, refusing them travel, imprisoning them without trial or charge, shooting players in the feet, destroying football stadiums. So, you know, the notion that UEFA and FIFA wouldn't have sanctioned Israel up to now is really shameful. And in fact, they refuse to adjudicate on the fact that Israel has clubs in illegal settlements.
If this goes ahead, and it probably will at this stage, the result of that will be what? How will that be viewed, do you think, Zoe?
Well, I think if you look back on our history and look back on how we view the Irish rugby tour to South Africa during apartheid and how we respect and uphold the players who didn't go, like Tony Ward, and how they should be proud, and we're proud of the people who took a stand then, and the Dunstore strikers and everyone who stood against South African apartheid. And this is a real opportunity for the FAI to lead and to do something that reflects the will of the football community and the majority of people here, and to do the right thing and to be on the right side of history. And I think in time, when they look back, they will be ashamed that it went ahead if they don't pull out, and they will be proud if they do pull out that they did that and took those courageous, morally principled acts.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the screens in front of me here, and many people going along with what you're saying and thinks that you know, we should boycott this, we should get out of this. But a couple of questions in about the use of the word genocide. Do you get that a lot, that what the Israelis did or continue to do, I suppose, to some degree, in Palestine is genocide? Do you get questioned on that quite a bit?
Not really in Ireland, because like every major human rights organisation in the world has said it's genocide. Multiple genocide scholars have said that. In fact, an Israeli genocide scholar came out in November of 2023, and maybe even October, and said this is genocide. The International Court of Justice is investigating Israel for genocide, and the United Nations has said it's genocide. So I don't think it's really in question. And we see, like, all the indicators of genocide are there. You know, depriving people of the right to life, etc.
All right, Zoe, good to talk to you today, and thanks very much for making time for us. Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Good morning to you. Bye-bye now. And Zoe Lawlor there from the Ireland-Palestine Solidarity Campaign. How do you feel about that. Another listener on say, good morning, friend. If the government won't stop the game, they'll then let the fans boycott the game completely and show the government what they think of their decision. That comes in from Richard in Cashless. Well, yeah, but by having the game in Hungary, is that not going to put pay to that, Richard? Pat was on to say, Fran, the trouble with carers is one size doesn't fit all. There's a huge difference between people who are caring 24/7 and others who need a lot less help, says Pat. Another listener, Barbara, on to say, Fran, since my first interaction with Richie and Family Carers Ireland in 2009, the help and support we've received has been invaluable. I genuinely don't know where I'd be without them. There is only so much Family Carers Ireland can do as they advocate on our behalf, and policy change is often very slow. With their support, we're able to start our carers choir, which has greatly benefited our well-being and helped reduce isolation. However, state services remain seriously lacking, and accessing the support carers and families need continues to be a constant battle, says Barbara to us today. Also into us, says he, fiddling around with the computer here. Frank, could you say a big thank you to Edwina from Fuss? From all of us struggling parents, Edwina goes above and beyond. She treats us like family, and nothing is ever too much trouble. She's a carer and faces her own struggles, but gives every spare minute, helping the rest of us to feel cared and appreciated. She picks up when we are down. She checks in on us, and she knows us. She's someone who deserves every bit of credit and recognition. So Edwina, Hazel and the Fuss team, we love and appreciate you all. You've helped and healed so many of us, and there's a lot of bad in the world, particularly the world of caring, but these ladies make it all worthwhile, and that comes from parents and children with additional needs across Tipperary. News and information is coming up.
Tipp FM's Tipp Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Hook On. Main Peugeot dealers in the Premier County. And now stocking the full range of the luxury French car brand DS Automobiles. Book your test drive today with Slattery's Garage, Hook On. See slatterysgarage.ie.